Good evening friends, Dr. Dan here again, coming at you on a Tuesday night. Today it's the second of my probiotic based Facebook Lives. Very excited to share with you a little bit about certain strains that you should be looking for when it comes to probiotics and some probiotic rich foods. So strap yourself in for the next 5 minutes as I take you on a journey when it comes to probiotics as such. Now, in our last Facebook Live, I shared with you a little bit about what probiotics are. So pro means good, biotics means life, so essentially they're good bacteria. And you have billions and billions of these in your gut. In actual fact, you have around about 80% of your bacteria in your small intestines and around about 7% in your large intestines. And it's very important that we choose the right types of strains so that we can get the best benefit for our health. Interestingly enough, I just wanted to make mention of what your appendix actually does. For some of you, you might think it's one of the most painful experiences in your life in getting that appendix taken out. Studies have shown though that your appendix actually incubates probiotics. So if you get it removed, a couple of different studies have shown that your rate of developing an irritable bowel disease actually doubles. So if you have had your appendix removed, it's highly suggested that you do have a diet rich in probiotic rich foods and different types of strains. Very, very important. So let's just get into it. I want to share with you 3 quick, easy strains that you should be looking for, and they're the most common probiotic strains. And they're that way for a reason, because they serve a vast variety of health benefits for us. The first is lactose, or Lactobacillus rhamnosus GG2, Lactobacillus acidophilus, anything lacto-based. And it gets its name because it actually has enzymes that can break down lactose, so essentially lactase. So you can consume a small amount of lactose. That's a great thing. But the other thing that they do is they actually assist in going through the body, the small and large intestines, and ripping all the bad stuff out and flushing them out of your system. So you can think of them as almost a kamikaze-like probiotic to flush them straight out of your small and your large intestines. So you should see anything lactobacillus base is a very good strain for you to be taking for your gut health. Very, very basic. Now, over time, a lot of pharmaceutical companies and nutritional supplement companies have developed more stringent, more robust strains that can actually, because usually the lactobacillus will go into the stomach and it will be destroyed by the acid or the acidic nature. But over time, things like Lactose rhamnosus GG2, those particular strains, have been so robust that they can go straight into your small intestines, so they're not actually destroyed. So that's a good thing for you and I. The second strain is Bifidobacterium, and this is one of the most common strains. In actual fact, it's a strain that we all get when we're born. When we pass through our mum's birth canal, for most cases, we actually pick up Bifidobacterium. And that's why it's very important if a child hasn't passed through the birth canal, or alternatively hasn't had breast milk that's been fed, that we introduce some sort of probiotic strains, including Bifidobacterium, because a child's gut flora and fauna is usually dictated before they're born and just after they're born. It's not to say we can't change it, but for the most part, we want to be making sure that the mother is getting a lot of probiotic rich foods before the child is born, and then straight after the child is born through breastfeeding. So very, very important point. And one of those probiotics is Bifidobacterium. And the way it works is it sits in your large intestines and forms like a placemat. And that placemat is going to prevent all the other bad bacteria from binding to the large intestines, which is a good thing for you and I. The second thing it also does, it also aids in the production of vitamin K and certain vitamin Bs, both of which are very important for being able to, for vitamin K, to take calcium from the blood and deliver it to the bones and to certain organs. And vitamin Bs, of course, are very important in protecting our cells and most importantly in being methylating agents to get rid of toxic chemicals from our body. There's another different type of, it's not a bacteria, it's actually a yeast, so there are good types of yeast aside from candida that can lead to sugar cravings. And this yeast is called Saccharomyces boulardii, which is essentially like a baker's yeast. And the way baker's yeast works is it sits in your small and large intestines, and it actually acts like a placemat. So it basically binds to certain parts of the intestines. Why is this important? Well, if you get told to take an antibiotic, usually the antibiotic will wipe out your gut flora and fauna. That is a bad thing, okay? Because the bad bacteria tend to grow back quicker than the good bacteria. So what a lot of people should be taking is certain types of yeast, good yeast like the baker's yeast and the Saccharomyces boulardii, which will sit in the gut, and when the antibiotic comes, it destroys the good and bad bacteria, but it does not destroy that yeast. Why is that good? Well, that's good because it essentially covers the small and large intestines so that when you start to take your probiotics, they can then integrate and the bad bacteria doesn't necessarily stick to the small and large intestines. So it's like your protective safety guard. Very, very important. Now, where can you get these different strains from? So good quality supplement companies, as you can see here, will actually contain the lactose and the bifido, and then also sometimes the baker's yeast as well. So if you get a good quality, good manufacturing, practicing supplement company, that's the first thing, so high quality. The second is you can make your own milk kefir. So I've been making milk kefir for about the last year. Very, very simple. You can buy it at your local health store. Comes in what you can see is a small little jar there. And you'll get these white little grains. And these white little grains, you place them in your milk once obviously you've sterilized the glass. And over time, at room temperature, it will start to ferment. This is sort of how yogurt is formed. After a day, you'll form this thick slurry of milk, which is known as your milk kefir because the bacteria have multiplied. Now, in a typical milk kefir, you get a range of different lactose-based bacteria, which is a good thing. The more different and diverse bacteria you get, the better. And you also get a few different yeasts as well. So that's a big, big positive. So that's something simple and easy for you to try. The other thing, and it's all the rage these days, but it has been consumed in, I guess, Eastern medicines and traditional Chinese medicines for a very long period of time, is kombucha. So you can see there, this is a SCOBY. And a SCOBY is essentially a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. It looks like a mushroom. You place it in water. You've got some black tea, and the SCOBY will actually consume and feed off of the sugars in the black tea and some degree the caffeines, and what it will do is it will basically start to multiply. And that's a good thing because then you actually produce a lot of different bacteria and a lot of different good yeast, but it also produces a small amount of acetic acid and gluconic acid. They're very important in terms of lining your gut, so the small and large intestines, and altering the pH level so that it can actually absorb nutrients such as your calcium, your magnesium, and your zincs. Very, very, very important. So the benefits of kombucha are just astronomical. Very simple, very easy to make. Make sure you use purified water. I have stuffed this up in the past where I didn't use purified water, whether it was reverse osmosis or filtered, and used tap water, and I grew mold. So please don't do what I've done, but it's very, very simple and very, very easy to make. Now, just to recap, as I share with you, look for a diverse range of different strains, like the lactose family, like the bifidobacterium, like the Saccharomyces boulardii, which is essentially a form of baker's yeast, so that we have a good diverse range of probiotics sitting in your small and large intestines. Milk kefir is a great source of probiotics. Kombucha, sauerkraut, kimchi is also very, very good. And of course, the good old standard nutritional high quality probiotic supplement that you can buy that is obviously gone through good manufacturing practices and standards. So very, very, very simple. Now, if you like this video, please feel free to like it on Facebook Live, share it with your friends, let's get some conversation started. Have you used milk kefir? Have you used kombucha? Or have you used any probiotic supplements? Please feel free to PM and share that knowledge. The next episode, I would love to share with you a little bit about what probiotics specifically feed on. And that's very, very important because if we don't give them the food that they need to thrive, then essentially they will die, which is a bad thing. And then the one after that, I'd like to open it up to everyone and share a little bit about some common gut health problems and how we can maybe alleviate them. So I hope you enjoyed this Facebook Live. It's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a happy and healthy week. See you later, friends. Bye.